Hey everyone, I am going to be doing a repair video on my BR600. It runs good, but it has a leaky carburetor. The tank vent leaks, and I've got an OEM primer bulb for it. It's got an aftermarket one on it, but I don't like it. I wanted to put an OEM one on it, so stay tuned for the video. Let's go. All right, so first things first, we are going to remove the recoil and engine cover and air filter cover. We got 2 screws here for the air filter cover. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the engine shrouding, and then we have 3 on the recoil. And off comes the recoil. And now the 2 screws for the air filter cover, 1 down below and 1 up above. Just take them out like so, and the air filter cover will pop right out. Slip the air filter out, and there you go. Next to the engine shrouding, we've got 1 screw here, like I showed you guys. 1 right there. I do apologize if my camera work is not good. I am not a professional video editor or video maker. I'm not a professional, but I'm trying, guys. And the 2 screws that are down below, I will go ahead and take these out and skip to the next part. So to anybody who is new that's working on BR600s or any steel backpack blower, you want to make sure that these spacers stay in each of the 3 of the recoil screw holes. They're just to space the screws in between this and the engine, basically, something like that. Just make sure you don't lose them. They're very important. We'll go ahead and start with the carburetor and primer bulb first. To remove this box, you need to take off the 2 carburetor screws, 1 here and 1 there, and you need to take off this one right here. Sorry folks, I hit the camera. Take these 2 out like so, and then the air box and carburetor will slide right off. There's one other thing to take note of. When you pop this screw out for the bottom of the air box, there is a little spacer that is in there. See if I can pop this out and show you guys. Give me 1 second. This right there is a spacer that also needs to stay where it's at, so make sure you do not lose it. And we will pop this out like so, and we'll need a little bit of wiggling, and there you go. Just let this hang here, it's not going to hurt anything. So take the 2 bolts out right here, and this actually that can stay there if you want. You can just kind of slide the carburetor off like so. If my camera is in the right position, you will take off this 1 fuel line right there. It goes to the top of the carb, and then the impulse line is right there that connects to this hose right here, and then there is the throttle trigger that's back here. Just disconnect it, and then all the way back here there's 1 other line that connects to the bottom of the carb. You can just disconnect that. Oh, there it goes, just like that. Your carb is now out. Let's get the new one and we will continue. I'm going to get you guys back here. First I will reconnect this 1 fuel line for the primer bulb up here. If you can see that all right, I hope you can. I will take the throttle cable and connect it in here like so. There you go, if you can see that all right. Just like that. And then I will take this 1 other fuel line, if you can see that, I hope you can, and just slide it onto the bottom of the carb right there like so. So like that, all the lines to the carb are now in where they should be. Please excuse my absolutely terrible camera work, and just set the carburetor back down there. There you go. You guys in here closer for the primer bulb, as it is right here. You will take a little pair of pliers and carefully disconnect the fuel lines. Try to wiggle them out. Don't just straight pull them out, because you could always risk breaking a line. It'll take a little bit of effort, but it shouldn't be that bad. Please excuse me. There are probably better ways to do this, but as you can tell, I am not the best small engine mechanic, honestly, but I'm trying, guys. Once you get the fuel lines disconnected, you're going to want to take note that the yellow line that I have here that runs to the, I'll get you guys closer. The yellow line right here that goes to the back of the carb up here attaches to the small inlet. The black line that runs down there and into the fuel tank goes to the longer inlet, or I guess you could call that the outlet maybe. We'll go ahead and do that. Take the short one and attach it. I'll get the pliers. Gotta do this right now, don't we? Attach it to the small short one. Then take the longer one and attach the black line to it. Just a little bit of wiggling in there will work. Do not be forceful with it because these can break easily. And then you're going to want to just kind of pop the primer bulb in like so. As you can hear, it clicked in. I will push it in a little bit further. All right, and there you go. Now once it's in, press it a few times to confirm fuel flow. Take a few tries, but it'll work. And it's starting to fill up. All right, everybody, it took a few tries, but it eventually filled up perfectly fine. So I do apologize for that delay. It is working perfectly fine. Now we are going to reinstall the air filter box. Push the box in closer and connect your breather hose to the bottom of the carb to this gold inlet or outlet, whatever you want to call that. Once you have it connected, push it in closer and kind of make sure it's in this hole up here. If you can see that, make sure it's in that hole right there. Line it up with that. We're going to go a little lower and we're going to look at this right here. I'm going to get you guys zoomed in a little bit more. Line this up. Make sure the ignition cable is behind these two white tabs and it sits right there. Take your bolt and insert it back into that same hole it came out of. Let me get my driver, my little screwdriver here. Gonna raise you guys up a little bit. Again, my camera work is not the best, so I do apologize, but I do hope this helped you out in the end. We're gonna just screw it in like so, and again, make sure your ignition wires are behind these two white tabs, and make sure you did not lose the spacer. Once you got it back in, we will move to the carburetor screws. Air filter box screws, it could be either way. Stick one in like this, just like so. Take a little bit of work. Once it is in, you are more than likely going to have to line it up with the, I forget what this is right here. It's like the intake or something. You're gonna have to kind of wiggle it around so it lines up. This never works first try. It takes a little bit of fiddling around to get right, but it's not that hard. Just kind of wiggle it as you're screwing it in. It'll hit the hole once you got it right. Now generally once you get one of the screws lined up, they usually both go in at the same time because it usually lines up pretty good. As you can see, the front screw has gone in perfectly fine. Now we're going to do the same with the back screw, make sure it's lined up okay. And once they are in, your primer bulb and carburetor are installed and good to go. Make sure everything is tightened down. Don't Superman the screws because there are plastics and such that can break. But if they're tight, that's all that matters. And again, press the power bulb to confirm fuel flow. And as you can see, the fuel is flowing just fine. I am now actually using my mother's phone. Mine unfortunately just died of battery. So next, to get to our tank vent, which is down here, right there, as you can see, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to flip our tank down like this, just like so. Or not our tank, but the whole blower itself. We have two screws, one here and one there. These two screws are what hold the tank to the frame. All I gotta do is unscrew these and the tank will be free and we will have access to the tank vent. Those two screws are out. Flip the blower back on its bottom frame, like so. There was a little bee there, never mind that. And your tank right here will slide out, like so. Once it does, you can remove these two fuel lines at the top of the tank, so you have like better access to it, per se. Keep in mind that the short fuel line that we have here is the one that, well, I guess I don't have to, but the short line goes to the top inlet and the longer line goes to the bottom inlet, further down in there. You can clearly see my mother's phone's camera is way better than mine. So when you're here, I would take one of Stihl's small little flathead screwdrivers, put it in here, and lightly pry on the tank vent to remove it. It'll takes a little bit, but it will work. Just lightly pry on it. Don't break it, but just a little bit of prying will work. And as you can see, mine came out, but it actually broke. And that's not a big deal. We can just pry on it the rest of the way and get it out. It's out like so. As you can see, the filter is very dirty, and well, it broke obviously, so that explains why this thing is leaking when the tank is full. Let's go ahead and grab the new one. Give me a second. And while you're at it, just for the heck of it, kind of wipe everything up a little bit because it's, you know, messy. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. It's better for it anyway. Just kind of wipe up the mess you made. It's not a bad idea. All right, once you have that all cleaned up, you're going to take your new tank vent and basically you're just going to push it down in there. It doesn't take a lot of force, but instead of hurting your finger, you can use a little screwdriver like this and just push down on it. Please excuse my hand that is in the way. It will take a little bit of force, but it will work. Just don't be too rough with it. Even hitting on it like this could work. All right, it just clicked in. I use this little T27 to kind of pry down on it and put it in there. When it's in, just lightly feel on it like here. Just make sure it's in the whole way. And once it's in, that is how you install your tank vent. Once that's done, all you're going to really need to do next is just slip your fuel tank back in where it came from, and it's kind of like this little mess here. I'm going to flip it over like this, just like so. And let's get our two screws. And just as they came out, they will go back in. Let's get you guys going here. One screw on each side, just like I showed you guys. If this video has helped you out, drop a like if you want. You don't have to, but because I know this is not the best BR600 repair video you've probably ever watched. I'm sure you've seen far better, but then again, I'm just trying to help out. Hopefully this was all right and good enough. And we are back down on the base. Now that that's all finished, we are going to reinstall the engine shrouding. I'm going to grab a magnet, and what I'm going to do is on my engine shrouding, this bottom thing likes to fall out, so I'm going to keep my magnet there as I'm trying to reinstall this. Since there's a magnet on the flywheel, I forget what this is called exactly. Keep it centered like this, because if it's down like this, it'll grab onto the spacer and it'll pull it out. So I would rather have it like this so it doesn't grab onto that bottom one. Just kind of slide it in there. It's not hard, but it can be a little finicky. It just you just kind of got to work it in there, but it's not hard or anything. Just don't be rough with it. Don't break it or anything. But it'll work. Just takes a little bit of messing with. And yep, it's in like so. Then we will take our 4 T27 screws. These ones are all the same. None of them are different. Just put them in the holes. Since they're pretty much all the same, these ones are the same, because I think I've seen on some units where the screws for the shroudings might be different. I might be totally wrong, but on this one, they're all the same. So just put them in. And again, since, especially on the bottom where the plastic's a little bit thinner, do not tighten them too much, because you will break the plastic on the bottom. I unfortunately have done that on this screw that's down over here, but it doesn't affect anything. It just kind of broke the screw hole a little bit, but it's not too bad. The top ones can be tightened a little more. I mean, they're not going to break as easily anywhere. But then again, there's no need to tighten them too badly, or too much, you could say. And once these are in, we are going to move to the recoil assembly. Now back to the recoil. Again, make sure all 3 of your spacers are still in their place. And kind of pull it over, make sure it catches. Take your screws and place them in. Now, I don't like to screw all of them down completely at the same time. I kind of like to make sure that they're like all even, so I like kind of tighten them, you know, halfway or so to make sure that it's all even, no imbalance or whatever you want to call it. And once they're all in, tighten them all down. Check that bottom one again. And there you go, the recoil is in. Moving back over to the air filter box, or the air filter cover, reinstall your air filter. Make sure it's pushed in the grooves and all like that. Just kind of roll your fingers around them, make sure it's in. Take the cover, line it up, and install or screw in the screws. These ones you don't have to really tighten them either, not that much. Make sure not to tighten them too badly. Don't want to break anything, do we? That should be just fine. And that is it. That is how you replace the primer bulb, the carburetor, and the tank vent on a Stihl BR600. Let's go attempt to start this. Hopefully everything's okay. I probably will have to adjust the carburetor, but that's not an issue. Let's go.